Depths of my soul, feeling the loss of controlling in the spirit, so colorful. If you feel it, then let's go to a place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising,
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to your late night edition of the Toon Review. Alex will be joining us hopefully shortly. Obviously, he has a lot to do at the minute with his wedding coming up at the weekend. Of course, he's off to Poland after tonight, so he's just sorting himself out. He'll be with us soon. For now, it's me and Billy Bob, and we are previewing the Everton game tomorrow night, of course, at Goodison Park, which kicks off at 7:30. You can join me and Billy live on air from 7 p.m. tomorrow night with full build-up, including team news, etc. And then, of course, play-by-play commentary of the game from 7:30. You can, of course, subscribe to the Toon Review if you do so wish tonight by hitting that subscribe button. It is free to do so. And don't forget to hit the notification bell, which will, of course, let you know when we schedule our live shows or we upload any recorded videos. You can become a member of the Toon Review by hitting the join button just underneath me and Billy Bob. And, of course, you can donate to the channel, as usual, by hitting the $sign at the bottom of the live comments. And that will indeed get you through your comment read straight out as well. Billy, Everton, our old Scouse Mackham friends. It's going to be a tough game. We will go through what Eddie Howe had to say, some points from the press conference as well. Are you looking forward to it? Are you a bit edgy about this tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'm a little bit edgy. It's how many times we can go to the well with the same bucket. Yeah, we saw it happen when we went to Bournemouth. They were a pretty physical side as well, a similar kind of side to Everton. Yeah. However, I think Eddie may have learned from that, and maybe the training regime's changed a little bit. So, yeah, I'm confident, but I'm a little bit edgy at the same time.
Excellent. I'm confident as well, providing the fatigue doesn't kick in. I think it's all about that for me. I really do. I think it's all about fatigue. But you know what? We've proved people wrong so many times this season. Hopefully we can do it again. Those of you just were wanting to know the scores in the Premier League at the moment. Some of the second halves have kicked off. It's currently Brighton 1, Brentford 1. Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 1, Fulham 2, Forest 0, Sheffield United 0, Liverpool 1, and Manchester United have taken the lead against Chelsea after 20 minutes. McTominay with the goal for them. So they lead Chelsea after 20 minutes. Villa and City are still goalless after 20 as well. Ian Morgan, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for signing up, and thank you for your support. And here we go. He's ready. He's here. He's looking fresh. It's Mr. Stato.
Hey, evening, guys. How we doing?
Hi, mate.
We aren't too bad, matey. How are the nerves kicking in yet, mate?
A little bit. Very busy.
Yeah.
Very, very busy.
Just keeping yourself busy and stop the nerves kicking in. You'll be fine.
Although
mate.
I only just realised the game's on Amazon tomorrow, so I can watch it in the airport. So I'm absolutely thrilled. I can at least watch.
It is on Amazon. Yeah.
Maybe not all of it, but I can watch most of it. So that's amazing.
Who I think don't do bad coverage at all of the games, to be honest. I'm quite impressed with the way the broadcast, to be honest. this is the second time I've actually been on tonight, Alex, because I came on at 7, ready to go.
I did hear while I was leaving work and busy. I did hear there were some interesting. Yeah, sorry guys.
It wasn't for Billy Paul and telling me that it was 8:30.
Did you actually go live?
No.
I was going to say.
I put a message on at 1 minute past 7 saying the show is now at 8:30, folks. So I do apologize to everybody. But again, my brain doesn't work as well, of course, as it used to. So sometimes I forget things. In fact, most of the times I forget things. But
you can't play that card because now we're not allowed to make fun of you. That's not fair.
I am playing that card, Alex, because it's fact. But hey ho. I've just been asking Billy, Alex, the game tomorrow night. We are looking forward to it. Billy's a little bit apprehensive. He came out with a classic quote saying, "How many times can you go to the well for the same water?" Which is impressive. What do you reckon?
I am nervous as well. I share Billy's nerves. I watched the first half of the Man United Everton game at Goodison Park, and I don't think the scoreline fairly reflects how Everton played in that game at all. I thought they were tenacious. They won the ball back. They worked hard. They were structured. They were undone by a wonder goal in the first half. They had a lot of shots. They created good chances. Calvert-Lewin got himself into good areas, although I think he's injured for this game, isn't he? So I'd have to check. We will do that when we get to graphics.
Calvert-Lewin injured? Surely
never.
Never.
But I think Dyche has had enough time to mark his, or to stamp his mark his stamp. I don't know.
Mark his territory.
Marcus, whatever it is, whatever he's done to Everton, he's done that, and they look a bit more dicey in terms of they give a bit more. There's a bit more physicality, a bit more grit and fight. The counter attacks look a bit more fluid. There's a few interesting things about them. I saw an interesting thing on The Athletic today. One of the guys mentioning he's a bit scared about Ashley Young against Anthony Gordon. I agree. If I was an Everton fan, I would be terrified of a 38-year-old marking Anthony Gordon.
Yes, I think what there will be is a serious pace difference there. So let's just hope he can perform. Zishan, thank you very much for your 1999 super chat. He says, my brother told me before the Man United match, watch out for Rashford. He's back with his girlfriend and does really good when he's with her. After the match, I was thinking, did he get together with Billy's ex? Dear me. Right, we're going to touch on what Eddie Howe had to say today in the course the press conference. Talking about various things. We are expecting players to be back before Christmas. So we'll see on that one. I don't really know anything of, with Newcastle United and injuries. But anyway, the first thing he said was, we have a group of incredible characters who are prepared to give everything physically and mentally to achieve success. There should be a good feeling in the group that we have the talent, we have the ability, and we have the character. We've got some really good leaders as well that are pushing and helping everybody to perform at a very, very good level. It's all well in the dressing room, Billy. That's a clear sign that everybody is pushing each other. But they have to make sure that obviously we don't push them too far over the edge where we have another Bournemouth performance. But it sounds like he's not really worried about the fitness at the moment. He's more up for it, as the players are showing. They're confident of going out and getting a result.
Yeah, well, maybe there's been a change in the training regime between the Bournemouth game and this one tomorrow. So many games together. Maybe he's laid off the training. Maybe he's just had them warming down, or it's bath routines, that kind of thing, and no actual physical training. So he sounds confident, doesn't he? Which is a great sign for us, I think.
Absolutely. Alex, are you picking anything up from that comment?
What was the comment?
Well, honestly, are you here or not? I've just read it out. He's just confident with the character and saying that the lads have the ability, the character, to go out there and get another result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, I was making sure graphics and retweets were done. In terms of character, yeah, I completely agree. It is one of those where post PSG, we were a little bit apprehensive about the Man United game, about the legs, about what would be offered. And I think we did absolutely fine. They were fitter than we thought they were going to be. They offered a lot more structure, a well, I say structure. They were just good. They executed everything very well. Pressing, regrouping when necessary. All the game plans were fine. Everybody did their jobs well. Every individual performed well. Everybody tried very hard. I'm sounding like Rafa now. I'm so sorry. Everybody was very happy. We scored many goals. We played very well. And
we had a very good
but,
club.
No, it was solid, and I agree with him. Of course, he's going to say this every time, but we played Saturday. We're now playing Thursday, so they've had rest. They've had training. I think they'll be fine. I do think they'll be all right.
I think it's more Sunday's game when the fatigue might tell Billy.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about more than anything, if I'm perfectly honest. I mean, going back to that same well again 3 days later, maybe a step too far, but we shall see. We underestimate the character and the fitness of the side sometimes, and maybe they'll prove us wrong. Hopefully, they'll prove us wrong.
Len Simmons, thank you very much for your $4.99 super chat. He says, "Hi chaps, they'll put 2 or 3 to Mark Gordon if they see him on one of his runs." Well, I hope to see him all night on one of his runs, constantly running at them.
Well, easy way for Miggy to get a goal because they're going to overcommit on Gordon not scoring.
Well, yeah. Now, of course, one man that will be definitely missing tomorrow is Nick Pope. And this is what the boss had to say about Nick Pope. He says, Nick has had a couple of appointments visiting specialists, and we're awaiting final news on what's going to happen with him. There's no doubt he will need an operation, so he will be out for a period of time. It's a big blow to us. Now, he did say around about 4 months, Alex. That is a long time. But he also stated that nothing was happening with regards to a goalkeeper. They're not looking for another goalkeeper. There's no talks. There was De Gea rumours yesterday, of course. Nothing like that now. But of course, he has said this in the past. The great one was the Harvey Barnes thing when he said we're not speaking to Harvey Barnes or anything, and he was in the next sudden room to him. So, you've got to take it sometimes with a pinch of salt, but it's a massive blow for Nick Pope. I think this is actually the second time it's happened to him. But we go with goalkeepers. We've got Dubravka and Karius.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to sign a keeper. I don't know if you saw. We reviewed the Georgian goalkeeper last night, and then obviously there's a lot of talk of De Gea as well. So there's a couple of keepers in the loop in terms of rumours / links. And again, it's what I said to Billy last night. It's very early days. A lot can happen between now and January that to change people's minds. Dubravka might step in and suddenly start doing things that we didn't know he could do. Who knows? With the way Eddie Howe has worked with, and the full sort of coaching setup have worked with a lot of these players, who's to say Dubravka isn't going to step out and prove us wrong and show us loads of stuff that we didn't know he could do, because he's been training with this group for a long time now. Maybe he's added a few things to his game. Maybe we're going to be really happy with him. Alternatively, maybe he has a few wobbles throughout December. We're not super happy. We're not confident with Karius as a backup. And maybe the club go, okay, we're going to commit to something in January. I reckon it's probably 50-50 right now. That's just my personal opinion. I think it depends. If Dubravka comes in and has a really solid December, looks great, has added stuff to his game, I think we'll be fine. But if Dubravka comes in and that doesn't happen, maybe they'll look at their options. Again, the question is, are we going to go for a young goalkeeper for the future? Are we going to go for a stopgap just to help until, there's a lot of ways we could go. So we'll have to wait and see. I think the big caveat is wait for December to be finished. Because it doesn't mean they're not looking at keepers. I think the club are looking at every player in every position all the time anyway. I think we've got a big enough network now that we've got a big enough data team, scouting team. I think they're always making sure we've got 10, 20, 30 in every position to fit what we want to do. Always, there's going to be lists.
And the thing is, Billy, Dubravka's a good goalkeeper. He is a good goalkeeper. And, yes, he's got his faults, but I think every goalkeeper has their faults that you could maybe think, they could be a little better at X, Y, Z or whatever it is. But, the games that we've seen him since he's returned from his loan spell, he's never let us down, to be honest. And I think he'll be up for it because he'll want to prove a lot of people wrong as well.
Yes, he's definitely got first go at the cake, if you like, and hasn't let us down in the past couple of appearances. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge at the end of last season, he played really well. And he played pretty well at Old Trafford as well, although he didn't have much to do, but he commanded his box well. The defence looked confident in him. And I think that's the key thing of it all. I think you've got to have a keeper that's the defence are confident in. And I think they are confident in Dubs because he's very, very let us down in the past, even when we were poor. So, Yeah, I think he'll take his chance, and I think he'll take it well. I really do.
Yep. Well, obviously Nick Pope won't be around for a while. On recent performances, Eddie went on to say there's been a big effort from the group. The players have really grasped the situation we are in. They have really stood up. We took a lot of confidence from the Chelsea game, which was a massive result for us. That led to Paris, which was a difficult one to talk about. And then what a response against Manchester United. I thought that was our best performance of the season. I mean, look, Manchester United was a tremendous performance, but we've seen some really. I mean, I know what he means about best game of the season, Alex. I mean, it was in terms of the way we controlled the game. I mean, to be honest, we've seen some blinders this season, with regards to results. So I think, reading into that they're going to play exactly the same way at Everton.
I mean, Everton aren't enormously dissimilar to what Man United are, which is hilarious to be able to say that, because it will really wind up the Man United fans. But I mean, try to be solid, try to be combative, play on the counter attack. Sorry, can people stop messaging me? I understand that obviously McNeil and Harrison, they're not going to like that I'm comparing them to their wingers, but they're hard-working wingers. Obviously McNeil followed him from Burnley. Went there anyway, didn't he? And then Harrison, who we were linked with because he's a hard-working, good, technically sound player. Eight goals at one point when we reviewed him in the Premier League. Good player. That they play decent counter-attacking football. So, I mean, why not? Why not approach it in the same way? Obviously, I think Calvert-Lewin is far more of a threat than what Højlund could be or was. I think Højlund will still be a great player. But yeah, I think the same way. There's no reason why we've got to line up any different.
Yep. Fulham have now gone 3-0 up against Nottingham Forest at Craven Cottage. Billy, I mean, look, it's confidence all the way, isn't it? And I mean, he's Eddie Howe is clearly confident in this group of players that he has, despite the mountain that they face of games with such a limited squad. But that'll boost the players as well, knowing that they've got the managers backing like that. Yeah,
and he has to, because every time he's asked them to go to climb the mountain, they've done it. They've done it well. They've done it easily at times. The only two occasions this season where we've really performed below level was Brighton away and Bournemouth away. Yeah. The only concern of mine is Bournemouth and Everton are pretty similar in the way style they play. They're very aggressive, aren't they? Get lots to leave the foot in. Handful up front if Calvert-Lewin plays. You can compare that to Solanke and some decent wingers also. So they are very similar, but I think we may learn by that lesson that we had at Bournemouth. I really do. And I don't think they're quite as good as Bournemouth, if I'm honest, at the minute. Bournemouth doing pretty well tonight, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, I mean, look, they've had a few decent results of late, Everton. There's no doubt about that. They have picked up, but they are still in serious trouble. And, if you look at the way we've played lately, then we should technically beat them tomorrow. But it's I guess it's all about controlling them from the off, quieting Goodison Park down and getting on top of the game. And I think once we do that, if we can do that, we will control it from then on. I think playing, it doesn't matter whether it's at James's Park or away from home. I think that the football we play is superb. The passing and the movement is something we haven't seen from a Newcastle side in a very long time. Now, on the Everton test, Eddie went on to say they have made some big strides as a team. The biggest challenge for us is that we compete as they do, which is just what Billy was saying. They're a very strong physical team. They will pose questions for us defensively, which you'll have to answer. We are going to have to respond to those questions. It's a big game for us. We know our away form has to improve. So, Eddie, not happy with the away form, Alex, but, I guess Everton will make it a physical game. They have to. I don't think they could match us footballing-wise.
No, absolutely not. I mean, they're 18th in the league for accurate passes. They have proper settled statistically into Sean Dyche ball, 100%. Yeah. You know what you're getting out of them. What was it you mentioned from Eddie Howe's comments? What did he say?
He wants the away. He's looking at the away form.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, away form. That I wanted to touch on that as well. That's crazy that he mentioned that, because the fact that we are so injury ravaged and we've beaten three massive teams in the Carabao Cup, and we've had the Champions League, and we're still right up there with the pack for the Champions League. And he's coming out and saying it's not good enough. We need to improve this stuff. The standards are, he's setting a benchmark for himself, and it's on the one hand, I'm thinking he shouldn't be so hard on himself, and then on the other hand, I'm thinking, no, what am I saying? This is why we're so good, is because he's got that mentality. Let him run with it. Let them all run with it. If they want to be winners, that's what you need. You need to think like that. Always thinking about how to improve every facet of the game and the club.
Yeah,
and away form, fair enough. Maybe it's about mentality. We have had periods and wobbles early doors in the season where we weren't quite mentally ready for some of the big challenges. And I think we've had so many big challenges now. We've definitely, we mentioned at the start of the season, this will be a great year for us to get a bit of mental strength. I'm shocked at how much we've gained, and we're only in December. It's crazy. I was expecting us to be this far ahead over a season, not just by December, but we've been through so many challenges already. The lads are so they're veterans to it now, so hopefully they can just keep pushing. And all of this experience is going to be great when we get to things like other cup finals. They're going to have been with the group. They're going to have been through such tough challenges, and it's great. It's amazing.
Yeah. Brighton have taken the lead at home to Brentford. It's now 2-1 to Brighton. 57 minutes gone in that game. Cockeyed Cyclops says, I worry about Everton dirty playing. We need to be careful of Gordon being taken out.
See, a lot of people keep talking about they'll go for Gordon. I mean, I said it jokingly, but why? Why are they going to go for Gordon? Dyche
doesn't that answer itself?
Yeah, but the manager didn't really have much to do with Gordon. It wasn't really.
No, but he's our biggest threat, isn't he? So that for that reason alone, they're going to kind of make allowances for him, surely.
Yeah, but I mean, as a threat, I think they will mark him as a threat, but they won't mark him because of who he is. I don't think they're going to overcommit because of who he is. I don't think there's enough players left in the squad who were there during that whole kerfuffle. I just don't think it's going to be an issue. I think a lot of the players. I think the Everton squad's kind of moved on a little bit, and they've got a different manager. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think they're going to mark him because it's Anthony Gordon. I think they'll mark him because he's dangerous.
Well, that could go in our favour, because that could free up a bit.
Trippier and Miggy on that side.
Yeah,
free runners on the box, cutbacks.
Or it could actually free Livramento to get further forward as well.
Funny you should say that. It could free Gordon up for the kind of goal he scored against Man United.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. But fingers crossed for that one. And finally, on the FA Cup draw, he says, I didn't hear or see the draw. I was relying on others to tell me. Initially, I thought they were joking. I was enthused by the draw. It's a great game for us. It will be an explosive atmosphere. We have played in a lot of highly charged stadiums with a lot riding on games this season. This will be another one. Stadium of Light hasn't exactly been highly charged for a long time, Billy.
No, but it will be against us. You can guarantee that.
Oh,
I think all this experience that we've had at Paris, at Milan, will stand us in good stead. It really will. It'll be there can't be anything more hostile than that. So I think we'll thrive on it, if I'm perfectly honest.
I mean, do you think, Billy, that sort of the likes of Dan Byrne and Sean Longstaff will be explaining to some of the players, what this derby's all about, or Eddie Howe playing them videos of previous derbies and things like that, and so they know when they go for this game what's at stake here, not just the next round of the FA Cup?
Yeah, well, one thing that the 6 in a row era kind of proved, the manager didn't quite understand Pardew at the time, and people after him didn't quite understand what it meant. And I think having the likes of Longstaff, Byrne, Murphy in that dressing room will dumb it. They'll be key people to get it going. They'll go in there with no kind of stones unturned about what this derby means to us. So I think it's going to be great, and them not being involved will be fantastic.
And very interesting that as soon as the draw was made, Sunderland then sacked the manager. Very interesting. Len Simmons, thank you for another $4.99 super chat. He says, physical game equals bad fouls. They'll be cutting us down. I just hope the ref is on top of this game. Yeah, but I think, Alex, as well, it's important that we don't react. This is the thing, because they will try and get in our faces, of course. They're bound to do that, but it's very important that we don't react to it.
Yeah, we don't want to get anybody sent off. It's obviously it's something that the current lads haven't been through at all. And there are fine margins. Like the way Joe Linton conducts himself, 90%. I mean, he got sent off against Benfica, but that was pre-season, doesn't really count. But yeah, there's going to be a few characters out there that will react. Fabian Scher's a bit of a fighter. Joe Linton's a bit of a fighter. There's a few of them that are quite happy to turn around and have a little bit of handbags. And we've just got to be careful that they can go up to the line, just don't cross the line, because we need to make sure it's that fine balance. You need to be dominant, you need to be aggressive, you need to be physical, you need to show that you're the top dogs. You need to make sure that you win those duels and you look after your teammates. And if a foul is necessary, foul, but don't go so far that we're going to get that the punishments are going to hurt us as a team and the scoreline. We need to keep 11 players on the pitch, but we need to do so whilst also still being physically dominant and not being pushovers. It's a really fine balance, and it's a situation these lads have not been in. So it's a new test. It is a new test because again, they're a lower league. They're not going to be able to match us technically. You talked about Everton not being able to match us technically. I mean, they're in League One, and now they're in the Championship. They're not even going to be able to close match us technically. So it's going to be old school football. It's going to be Route 1 because they're not going to be able to do anything else. And it's going to be a lot of physicality, I would imagine. So we're going to have to play it well, but I think we will. I think they're up for it. Bruno instantly started playing FIFA against them.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So, I what you said there. Yeah, I think Eddie Howe will. I think there'll be I think the backroom staff will be getting stuff together. Because I think for most of the backroom staff, I'm not super familiar with a lot of the backroom staff, but there must be some. I was going to say dregs then. That's disrespectful. There must be some people still left over from previous regimes that may have been there when we had a last derby.
Lascelles played in the last derby, so he was there.
Okay, so he'll know then. But so there's a few that will still be around, whether it's backroom or whether it's squad. But yeah, it'll be a really interesting new challenge.
I can't bloody wait, me. I cannot wait. Ratchet says it'll be the first derby of the TTR era. Won't we love every bit of it? I mean, me and Billy will be on commentary for the game, and
I might have to join you.
Is it on telly?
I don't know. It hasn't been announced yet, but it will. I would imagine it will be, Billy. It's one of the bigger games of the round, isn't it? I would imagine so. But even if it's not, we'll still bring live commentary of the game. But we'll see. We'll wait for the TV, of course, to be announced. Do we have any graphics for the game tomorrow, Alex?
We have some indeed. Let's just bring these over. So we do have the benefit of, because we're doing the preview the day before, we get the predicted lineups. So sometimes when we do previews, it's a little bit earlier, but now we get the actual lineups. So we've got
what Alex still hasn't relaunched his Chrome, guys. I honestly.
I have actually. I think that's because it's been updated. I think it's still
no relaunch to update again, Alex.
I did it last week.
Never mind.
Yeah. So this is the predicted lineup for FOTMob, and it's a very similar team, if not exactly the same team as what they played against Man United. It will be difficult. They're very, very rigid. They're structured. They will play a mid to deep block. They will use the width. They will be energetic. They will play counter attack. Decore and Idrissa Gueye will work very, very, very hard. Garner, I'm not sold on Garner, but he's okay. He's doing okay at the moment. I'm just not a massive.
Bit of a utility man, isn't he? Bit of a jack of all trades master, isn't he? He played right back in the England 21s, didn't he? In the tournament. In
the most respectful way, he reminds me. I feel like he's the Jack Colback regen. If that makes any sense to anybody, I feel like he's the next version of that. He's a decent player, but he's a decent player, and that's. I don't really know where he's meant to go. He's like a hybrid James Milner, and I feel like James Milner's a lot better. But you know what I mean? He's one of those. He's Anyway, fullbacks. Ashley Young's.
Sorry, Alex. Just to let you know, Chelsea have equalised at Old Trafford. Cole Palmer.
Aston Villa took a lead against Man City also.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, they haven't. ball's gone out of play. So
we don't want that. We want Man City to beat Villa because we want.
I think that thing's been disallowed. I think it's been disallowed. Has that gone out of play? I'm not sure.
We'll see. Sorry, Alex, carry on, bud.
Yeah, fullbacks. Ashley Young. I'm not convinced he's going to start, but I don't know who else they would play.
Well, they've got Patterson, haven't they? And Seamus Coleman. True,
but again, I don't fancy any of them.
No.
I don't fancy any of those fullbacks against our wingers. I know people are having a few people the last couple of weeks get a bit ratty about Miggy. It doesn't score for a few weeks, and people start getting on his back again. It's a bit weird, but I feel like Miggy and Gordon. I don't think they're going to have enough for him. I do feel like
I think Miggy's been playing well. I think it's just his final ball or shot hasn't been there right now. But apart from, I think he's been doing okay. Could he do better? Yes, in the final third he could, but I think at the minute, I think he'll tear Mikalenko a new one if he goes up against him.
Well, I'm expecting big things from Isak in this game. I want a bit more because he's got a bit of a free pass in recent games because of how many games he's playing. He's returning. He's had to do a lot of work on his own, and I get it. It's really difficult. However, Tarkowski is pretty slow, albeit very experienced. Branthwaite is of course extremely highly rated, so he's up against two decently rated centre halves. And Mikalenko's no joke either. He's massively experienced at international level and Premier League level. He's played a lot of football at a good level. He's not bad. McNeil works very hard as well, and we'll be supporting him, as does Harrison. So they're going to get support.
Well, we were linked with Jack Harrison, of course, for a long time, Alex, weren't we? We were linked with him for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, Dyche has built a good side. That he's built a side to try and stabilise the club.
Good, Alex. Good.
Well, when we make comparisons to some of the other dross that's littering the lower ends of the table, I mean, Sheffield United and Luton. I feel sorry for Luton. I don't want to disrespect them, but I think they got promoted, and they know they're going straight back down. That's fine. It's not a problem. They'll get parachute payments. It means they can invest in the club. They can they can keep doing it. That's not a problem. Sheffield United, I think, should have done a bit more. But Everton are echelons above that, massively above that. But he's built a strong side, and they look like, despite a 10-point deduction, they'll still be absolutely fine, which shows how they're very lucky that the bad of the bad in the Premier League is so bad this year, because I think any other year a 10-point deduction sees you down. This year, I think they'll get away with it. So I think they're very lucky in that regard. But yeah, it's a good side, but I would like to see Isak step up a little bit, maybe catch him a bit. Again, I do think they'll sit a little bit, they'll very deep. But I'd like to see Isak do something dribbly, take players on, actually commit, get a few more shots off in this game. And yeah, we've just got to be careful physically. Joe Linton in against sort of Harrison, Garner, Tarkowski. It's going to be an exciting game. I think somebody to watch in this game specifically, who we've not really mentioned yet, is Livramento. I think obviously they'll be a little bit concerned about Gordon. Joe Linton's going to be doing his typical destroying things. And then look who's going to just hoover everything up and then carry on. It's going to be Livramento. So I'm expecting a good game from him. And yeah, it will be exciting. We'll move on from this one.
Just while you're doing that, Alex, Shane over there in Australia, good morning to you, buddy. Hope you're well. Thank you for your $7.99. He says Bruno and Joe Linton have played in Brazil. Trippier's played under Simeone in the Madrid derby. The Stadium of Light won't be intimidating to them. Absolutely, 100% agree with that. It just won't get to them. Sorry, Alex, go on.
Yeah, so just the general data of how Everton are profiling this year. Goals per match, they're only putting in they're in 17th, 1.1, which is shortchanging them a little bit because their XG has actually got them in 10th. So underperforming slightly. In terms of the other metrics, goals conceded, 8th. So we're doing very well. They're in 2nd. Again, clean sheets, middle of the park. Possession, to be expected. It's... they're playing Dyche ball and they're sitting deep. They're playing a certain brand of football. But shots on target, middle of the park. Big chances created, middle of the park. Passes and possession, you can see what they're not about. They're not about keeping the ball. They're not about playing pretty football. It's all work hard, graft, use wide players, use Calvert-Lewin, counterattacks. Accurate long balls, they're 3rd in the Premier League. So again, and they're 7th for crosses. you can see what they're about. He's got them playing very, very aggressively, 4th in interceptions in the league and 2nd in successful tackles. So again, it's about using the wide men, getting the long balls up, using Calvert-Lewin, grinding really hard in the tackles, interceptions, possession won in the final third. They're in 8th. Clearances are a 10th. So they're 4th for fouls. So they are quite dirty. To be fair, they're going to put their bodies on the line. Not too many yellow cards either. That's quite interesting. That's an interesting statistic, actually. They're 4th for fouls per match, but they're very low in yellow cards. So maybe getting away with quite a lot of their physicality.
Or maybe they're just doing it well. I mean,
potentially.
It looks like the Fulham have gone 4-0 up at home to Nottingham Forest. Alex Iwobi in the 74th minute. Phil Gow, member for 19 months on the channel. In the Freeman, lost my left leg. Sometimes life is shit. Phil, I'm so sorry to hear that, mate. That is awful. You get yourself as well as you can pretty soon, buddy. I know you've been a mainstay of the Toon Review for a long time, so prayers and thoughts are with you, you matey, and keep your chin up. I know it's difficult, but try and recover as best you can, my man. Really sorry to hear that. As for predicted lineup for Newcastle, Alex, I think that is the team that we have to play tomorrow. I don't foresee any changes because, as you said earlier on, we've had a decent rest, since Saturday night. We now go a few days, and this two games in 3 days, 4 days could be difficult, but we should be fresh. We should be able to cope with this.
I would hope so. I agree with what you two said earlier. I think Sunday's going to be the concern against Spurs because they're a hard-working, well-put-together team, and the only benefit is that they've also got a lot of injuries, but they're still playing. They're doing the same as us. We're both battling through it and still playing good football. So I think Sunday either has it's either going to be an absolute classic or it's going to be dross, and we're both going to cancel each other out, and it's going to be 0-0. I'm not quite sure which direction it's going to go in yet.
I don't foresee that at all. I can't see the side we're putting out. I think we will score.
I mean, I hope so. Did he mention Sean Longstaff in his press conference?
He just said that hopefully he'll be back before Christmas, along with I think he mentioned Botman as well.
I was thinking maybe Sean might come on for half an hour at the end of this game, but if he's not ready enough, then fair enough.
Available.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see us score a goal in the first half because I think they are very rigid. But this is one of those teams where if we can make sure our fitness levels are there, I think they will struggle in the final 20 to 30 minutes. And I think we can turn the screw, bang in 2 or 3 goals if they switch off or we just overwhelm them physically. It's one of those games. It depends if we're up for it. Depends if we've got the legs for it. We can do it. We should do it. But I hope we don't. The important thing is to try and get an earlier goal so we aren't dependent on that late onslaught. We know we can break teams down when we're fit in the final stages of games, and we can put lots of goals past people, but we don't want to. We can't put it solely on that in case it doesn't work. Sometimes you get unlucky and shots don't go in. You hit the bar, keepers make worldly saves. It happens. So I really do hope we do, get an early goal in the first half, preferably just to give us a bit of breathing room.
Calvert-Lewin's there, but I'm not entirely sure he's going to start the game, Billy. So you look at the 2 11s there, and you just think, wow, Newcastle surely you've got enough. I mean, he's not on the injured list, so maybe he is playing.
You have to scroll down to see if they have 3.
But you look at that 11, Billy, and you think, even with Lewis Miley's been performing brilliantly, so you think. There should be goals in this tomorrow, Billy, for us. I mean, defensively, our back four have been absolutely magical. So, this. The more I look at the sides, and I think, surely we're good enough to beat them, even with a very, very basic squad.
I think it's key that Joe Linton performs to his previous fantastic game he had against Man United and the game before. Yeah, they're going to try. I think they'll try and bully us in the middle of the park, if I'm honest. And I think Joe Linton's key to them not being able to do that because they are very physical in there. Just a Gay and Doucouré. Nana's out, isn't he? So he's not playing. But if he was play as well, very bully boyish, aren't they, in the middle of the park? Yeah. So it's whether we can combat that and play some good football through them. Yeah, I'll see no danger why we can't beat them 11 on 11, all things being equal.
Yeah, I would say that as well. I mean, I'm very interested to see how Isak performs tomorrow, Billy, because you know, we've mentioned him a few times, and some people haven't agreed with our thoughts on Isak and things like that. So I think Isak, you know, last time he was at Goodison, he was magical, of course. Let's not forget that. He's now had a few games to get match fit. So I would expect that he's flying tomorrow.
Yeah, we need to get the ball to him in the right areas, and we don't want his back to goals as such. We want him boarding the channels, basically, against two pretty slow centre backs. And Braithwaite's slightly quicker than Tarkowski is, but that's the key to it, is giving him service in the right areas, with him facing the right way. We don't want him competing with them physically, because he'll get bullied. But that's the key to it all, I think, is giving him the ball when he's facing goal. And if we can do that to him, then I think he'll score.
Pedro, I think you're mistaken what I mean by basic. I don't mean a basic team. I mean a basic squad, as in down to the bare bones. You know, I don't mean basic as in players-wise. I think we're magical, that first 11. And it's still incredible that we have this many injuries, yet we still have a first 11 like that, who we have 100% faith in. Kevin says Isak is holding back. He knows he's the only option and can't afford to get injured. He's purposely not going full on just to be able to get through games. We'll see more from him when Wilson is back.
Potentially that could be true.
Well, it could be, but surely as a footballer, we need all 11. You can't go into a game thinking, "Oh, I better not get injured." What's the? I don't agree with that. I think that's the wrong mentality, because normally, if you go out thinking like that, you end up getting injured because you're not quick enough to make a decision, and someone nails you with a good tackle or what. I think it's very dangerous to play that kind of game. So I would. You just can't go into games thinking, "Oh, I don't want to get injured." It doesn't work. We've seen that before, and it hasn't worked. I understand.
He may not even be at fully fitness himself, though. Remember, he came back from a long layoff, so there are kind of caveats to why he's performing so weakly, should we say? I think weak is probably the word we can use. But when he's got the ball at his feet, he looks as good as ever.
I'm expecting a big game from him tomorrow, Billy. I'm expecting him to perform tomorrow. But it's right. We have to get the balls into him. We have to get him into the right places. But that's up to Alexander Isak as well to make sure he is in the right places. But I think the amount of games now he's played, Alex, I expect him to be match fit and go for it tomorrow. And I think, you know, when Alex Isak is flying, he is untouchable. We saw that at Everton last season with that magnificent move down the left-hand side. And another one of them would be great tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know if he's 100% match fit. Possibly. Again, it depends on fatigue and different factors. If you notice that the way we got both of them up to speed was we had that little period of time where Wilson got 60 minutes, Isak got 30. Next game, Isak got 60 minutes, Wilson got 30. They would rotate. They were allowed to play themselves into games. They weren't overworked. They had an allocated time that they could play for, and they would empty the tank, and we looked unstoppable. I feel like we're not going to be able to get that out of either of them until we've got them back for some rotation. But that being said, I agree with you. I do think it's time. I want to see some jinking runs. We made the statement that, okay, fine, Maxi was leaving the club. There was nobody to do dribbly things anymore. And we said, well, Isak's doing the dribbly things. He's got that about him. We've not really seen it this year. He's not had that. He's still got the close control, but we've just not really seen that side of his game yet. We know he's got it in his locker. We know he's absolutely absurd when he gets going. And will we see will we see the explosive dribbly Isak against Everton, or is it a case of we won't see him back until he's got some help in rotation? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Again, as Billy said, he was coming back from injury. We are expecting a lot from him. As I always say, wages don't mean anything. They're not robots. So they can only give what they can only give. And there's fine margins in football. So,
I mean, there is a possibility, Chip is saying that Wilson could be back for Milan. And many people are saying, you know, how will Callum Wilson perform when he comes back? Because is he going to be worried about getting injured as well? You know, is he going to be pushing himself? I just think we need somebody who leads the line, who isn't going to worry about that and hasn't got to worry about it and just goes for it. Yeah,
but we'll get that from all three of them if there's three of them, because there's that rotation element.
Absolutely. But, did we ever look at Alan Shearer and think he didn't try because he was worried about getting injured? Did we ever say that about him? That's what it takes to be a great.
And then he got injured.
Yes,
Lots.
but yes, he did. But he never went into a game thinking, "Oh, I'm not going to put 110% in case I get
of
in."
course.
You know, let's be honest, and that's what makes a great player. You've got to go out there and just think about that game ahead and not the next few games. You know, you can't, because I think it's the wrong way of thinking. It's the wrong mentality. But that's just my opinion. You know, many people may think differently to that. Now, I know we're on a bit later tonight, guys, so we're going to do now our score predictions. So take part in this. Let me know what you think the score is going to be tomorrow. There is a poll up as well. Obviously, there's been a poll up all show. Who do you think will win tomorrow, Newcastle, Everton, or a draw? It's as simple as that. We'll have a look at that when we come to close the show. Zishan, thank you for another $4.99, my friend. He says, we'll batter Everton. Just hope we're not wearing the green kit. I don't think we'll wear the green kit because I think that might clash too much with the blue. We should be in black and white.
Yeah.
I would think we'll be in black and white. I think the green will be too, Everton playing a dark blue, don't they? So I think...
I don't like the green anyway. It's the same as the grass. It's something I mentioned in pre-season. I don't like to any team playing in green. I think it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah.
And have we? I did issue a challenge at the start of the season, didn't I? Who was going to pass to the advertising boards first? I don't think we've seen it yet.
Nick Pope.
Nick Pope. Nick Pope. Yeah. Oh dear. Lawrence is going 2-1 Newcastle. Norvik's going 4-1 Newcastle. Bruv Butler says 3-0 the mighty Toon. Paul Feeney says 3-0. The Roughyard Benissian says 2-0 to the Toon with Livramento and Miley. David R says Everton 2, Newcastle 5. Lars says hoping for a 3-0 win. And the Sheffield United grabbed 2 late goals tonight. Anthony Wilkinson says 3-0. Peter Griffin says the green kit is horrible. I never want to see him playing it again. I hate it. I absolutely despise it. Ken Mann says 3-0 to the Toon. Tony Honest says 2-1. Peter Griffin 1-1. Anders 1-1. Ronald says 3-1 to the Toon. Baz down under 3-0, same as Jabba Dabba Doo. Davey T 1-0 the Toon. Julie J 1-0. Ian 2-1. Ian Skinner 3-0. And Acid and Narani Granny both going 4-0. So there's some big scores in there, guys. Michael Watson, I think that's a little bit optimistic. Everton 1, Newcastle 9. Although I would absolutely love to be playing the goal scoring music 9 times tomorrow night. I think that would be sensational. But let's not expect too much. Alex, you can take the first stab at this tonight as PD Proudlock says 3-1 to Newcastle. What do you think the score is going to be, Mr. Stato?
I think we'll win and we'll keep a clean sheet. I think Livramento will get a goal himself. I don't know why. I've just the way when we've looked at the lineups prep before the show, I just feel like the way it's going to work with Gordon and Joe Linton and the way Livramento's playing, I just feel like it'll open up for him at least once or twice. I could just see Livramento getting on the score sheet. Equally, I think Miggy will get one. So a cheeky little left foot. I think we'll be able to work it left to right. We did it very, very well against Man United. I think there'll be spaces eventually, and I think it'll be 2-0 to us with a clean sheet.
Fulham are now 5-0 up at home to Nottingham Forest. Tom Kearney in the 86th minute. So they are absolutely thumping them. What was that, Billy?
I think he'll be getting a sack, Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, could be trouble.
Got a good squad as well. He shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be losing to Fulham 5-0 with a squad.
Not with this kind of squad now. I mean, it was understandable last season with all the the turnover, but he's made some good additions and stabilised it. Not really acceptable anymore.
Too many players, maybe too many players in the squad. But it does happen. Russell Fox is going for 3-0 with a Miggy hat-trick. Indigo Figure says 3-0. Lamp says 2-1. More hard-fought game than most believe. Mason's going 3-1. And Acid says 4-2. Look, it will be a battling game, but I think if we silence them in the first 20 minutes, I think we'll see it out quite easily. Billy, what are you thinking?
I'll agree with that. I think it'll be a couple of goals to none. I think we'll have too much for them football-wise, and we'll score 2 goals. I'm not going to predict the exact every time I predict they don't score, so I'll predict. I'll go with Miggy for 1, and I'll go with Bruno for 1.
Okay. Interesting. Paul Tully says Miggy needs to start to bring up those assists. I want to see better service for Isak that he hasn't got recently. Chrissy says I hope we see Bruno on the score sheet.
I think we should challenge that. I don't think that's fair on Miggy.
I don't. I think Paul's right. I think he does need to bring the assists up a bit.
But
I think his final third. Yeah, but I'm saying we mentioned this. Bournemouth are 2-0 up at Palace now.
But it's not right. If you think about our attacking
play, you think of Miggy, Alex, and you think, right, we were talking about earlier on, just about in the final third. You know, we want to see a bit more from him. He's only got 1 assist all season. That's not.
No, really... I don't think we need to measure him by assists. I think that's nonsense. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. If you look at the passing sequences and the way we set up for Miggy, he either passes with his left foot for Trippier to make the assist for Trippier. He will shoot with his left foot. He will recycle it to Bruno, or he will play a 1-2 in which he himself runs into the box. Miggy is the receiver.
I understand that, Alex.
So where is his opportunity based on? And that is clearly training groundwork.
Yeah.
All of what we do there is training groundwork. At no point, unless he cuts in on his left foot and there is a square pass he can play to Isak, which is very rarely on. Where are his assists coming from? Unless he goes away from what the instructions of build-up is and he does something else, I don't see how he's getting assists in the way we build up. That's not how we're built to play. He's either meant to feed Trippier, shoot himself, recycle the ball and get into the box himself. Where's he getting these assists from? I don't. My expectation of Miggy is not assists. I don't think that's what we're using
it's
for
not.
At all.
It's not. But I'd like to see a few more assists from him, though, Alex. When
it'd be nice.
He's
but they're only
the byline and he's pulling the ball back. He doesn't find the man.
But they're only going to come from organic situations on a counter attack.
Listen, I agree with you. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I think Miggy's job is very different to a natural winger who gets the ball and takes players on.
I think it's highly key that you think back where his assist came from when he was on the left flank playing it 3-4.
Yeah. Listen, I agree. I agree with you, Alex. I'm just playing devil's advocate with it.
I just think it's harsh. You're going to think about the way each player plays. Trippier's going to get lots more assists because we gear it towards him playing the final ball. Of course, he's going to get more assists. You've just got to break it down.
Kevin makes a good point. Kevin Bell says Miggy's runs create opportunities for Trippier, and he's got loads of assists. It's a team effort. Absolutely. Mrs. Toon Review's going for a 3-2 win. Now, Mrs. Toon Review has a very good record in the last few weeks of predicting results. Maybe not the score, but she's got the results right. And I've laughed at her a couple of times with her predictions, and it's been thrown back in my face. So if you're a betting person, get a better 3-2 on. You might not be far out. Although I don't think Everton will score 2 against us. I'm going 3-0 tomorrow, and I'm going for an Anthony Gordon hat-trick.
It's because you want to see it.
Yeah. Oh, God, do I want to see it. I want to see him hammer that third goal in past T-Rex arms, run up to the Newcastle fans and kiss the badge. And just show how much of... I mean, I saw a tweet from an Everton fan today, right, which just... I mean, it would really, really just nail it to the mast how stupid those people are, right? He put a tweet out saying that... Anthony Gordon forced his way out of the club, right? Mm-hmm. No, he didn't. You, Everton fans, forced him out of the club. Let's not forget that night that we all saw on the news of Anthony Gordon trying to leave the stadium and you lot couldn't let him out. You surrounded his car. You put the shits up him thinking he was going to get beat to shit by Everton Rajis. You forced him out the club, not Anthony Gordon forced his way out. He decided to move because he was getting it from you lot, you stinking dirty skip rats. That's who forced him out of the club. And to be honest, I am fucking delighted, absolutely delighted he chose to come to Newcastle United because you lot slagged him off all last season thinking, oh, it's £40 million, thank you, we've chucked the receipt away. Well, screw you because he's worth double that now. So who's laughing now? You stinks. Anyway, that's mine done for the night. I'd love to see him get a hat-trick. It would be very nice.
I think we all would.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
I don't care if he gets a hat trick. I just want him to get at least a goal and celebrate it.
Yeah,
that would be. Oh
great. Yeah. I want to see him have a blinder. And to be honest, I think if
I want to see a knee slide,
celebrate. Of course,
I want to see a knee slide from him when he scores
in front of the Everton fans.
In front of all of the Everton fans.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. You know what it is, right? Absolutely. And I think they've only got themselves to blame. And I think if he does score tomorrow, he will celebrate. Of course he will. He loves it here. He's not going to show any respect to the fans that forced him out the club and tried to bloody physically assault him when he was in his car, rocking the car and blocking him in. And, he was fearing for his safety. How
I tell you,
who I do want to do that.
I really want Miley to score. I think he deserves it. I think in the last couple of appearances, he should have had 2 goals. Yeah. I think I can't remember who he hit. He hit one of his own players with a shot in one game. And then the game against Manchester United, obviously he had that shot that was going in that Wan-Bissaka saved with the block of his career. So I really do think Miley's been shortchanged. I think he deserves a goal and he hit the bar against Chelsea at the back end of last season as well. So I think he should have had a goal by now, and he's been very unfortunate. So I'd love to see him get on the score sheet just so he's got his first goal and it's done, and then he hasn't got to think about it anymore. I think it just take that pressure off a little bit.
Yeah. Well, why not go 4-0 with the Gordon Hattick and Miley at the top of the night off? That would be good. Bournemouth have won at Selhurst Park by 2-0. That's a bit of a shock result.
Maybe Anthony Gordon could incorporate the Dwight Gale celebration. The up and down one.
Yes.
That was quite funny.
Yes. That would be quite funny. Ian Skinner says, I want to see Billy do a knee slide.
Fucking you and me both, kid. Wait till the ice comes.
When was the last knee slide that you did, Billy?
Fuck me, I don't know. Black and white TV was on now.
Dominic Szoboszlai has just scored in the 94th minute to wrap the game up for Liverpool. It's now 2-0 at Sheffield United.
Not 8, though, is it? Not 8.
No, it's not 8. Alan says, quit holding back, Paul. Let us know how you really feel. Listen, I feel very strongly because, I don't like the Everton fans, and I don't think many people do. I don't like Everton as a football club. The way just the fans acted on at St James's Park last season, they were pathetic, walking around like gods of the earth and slagging the Newcastle fans. Oh, just horrible. But listen, we know that the Scouse Mackhams, and this is another team that I want to beat tomorrow, and I won't hold my feelings back. I'm a Newcastle fan, and I'm not going to put any praise for Everton because I suddenly hate them. Fulham have beaten Forest 5-0. That is now a result. Could that be the end of Steve Cooper's reign at the... well, I think it will be. I think he's got to go for me. He should be doing a lot better.
I've just seen the end of that there. Steve Cooper walks off, his face is all screwed up. Just his normal face, though.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, Steve Cooper's screwed up face. I mean, he won't win any looks for best looking manager in the Premier League, will he? Bless him. Alan says Gordon will have to run for cover after he scores. Well, listen, if Everton fans decide to chuck things on the pitch, then they will get even more points deducted, in my opinion. So let's, they're just idiots. Steve Mallam, who's been a member for 16 months. Thank you very much, Steve, for your support. He says, love your answer, Paul. You're saying what we all think. Well, I hope so. I just don't like Everton. And I think, I want us to hammer them tomorrow. I don't like that football club. And I think, going into the Championship, maybe just a wake-up call for them, Billy.
Well, yeah, it would be. But as Stato rightly said earlier, it's been time so they can get away with it. However, there is meant to be another one. So coming at the end of the season for recent transgressions, shall we say.
Absolutely. Foxy says Leon are losing 4-0 tonight. Rock bottom of what has happened to Leon?
I'm really sad about that because
I am as well. I think Leon's a good football club.
They got a win a few weeks ago, and it's just not working. I mean, they kept on selling assets, and it worked for them. And now they've run out of saleable assets. And the players
to be fair, they're away in Marseille tonight, and Aubameyang seems to have rediscovered his scoring touch in Liga. So it's a difficult game. But Leon was one of those teams that were pushing Paris Saint-Germain for several years for the title.
I mean, this is what happens when they pump money into Monaco and PSG. Saint Etienne have won more Ligue 1s than any other French club, and they're in the division below. Lyon are really struggling, and it's just sad for French football because there's a lot of the real clubs.
Yeah. Of course, one of our former players went to Saint Etienne, fullback. Can you remember which one, Billy?
Saint Etienne.
I do.
I know. So do our Alex.
Debussy.
It was Debussy. Well done. Yeah, it was. Well done. Zishan, thank you for another $4.99. He says, Gordon to do an Adebayor tomorrow. Oh, could you imagine that? Oh, dear. I don't think he will. I think he'll just celebrate with the Newcastle fans, to be honest. I think that's what he'll do.
I want him to run up to the corner flag and just fold his arms and just stare into the Everton crowd.
Stare at them.
Stare at them, and they will lose their minds.
I don't know about you guys, but I think he might have something prepared if he does score. I think he'll have been thinking that he'll been looking on the fixture list for this game, obviously, because he only came on as a sub last season, didn't he, for a few minutes. This time is very different, and his form is very, very different as well, the way he's playing. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. But don't forget, me and Billy live on air from 7 p.m. tomorrow. Half an hour build up to the match with team news and then full play-by-play commentary. But before we go, Alex, I'd just like to say, while we're on air, I know we talk off air and everything, but while we're here, and I'm sure the Toon Review Army will back me up with this, and just wish you all the happiness in the world. And for this weekend, I know it's been a very, very difficult process for you, especially over the last 12 months with what's gone on with trying to get Anya in the country and things like that. So, listen, nobody deserves it more. I hope you have a lifetime of happiness, the pair of yous. We're proud of you, and I just hope everything goes perfectly for you this weekend, mate. And you come back smiling, happy. I'm sure he will, Billy. I'm sure he'd be exhausted. But listen, in all seriousness, though,
depends if we get 6 points. But thank you.
Just have a wonderful time, mate, and looking forward to you getting back over here and all sorted and done and dusted. So just have a wonderful time, matey. We love you. And that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As I say, we'll be back at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. I will do a recorded news show if there's any news tomorrow, but it's match day, so there tends to be a bit quiet on the news front. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your new memberships and super chats. Thank you, Mod Squad. You've been amazing. Thank you, Billy and Alex. Alex, we'll see you back next Tuesday night. Are you back, I think, on the show?
Potentially, should be.
For the Milan preview. Hopefully. The results of the poll, of course. I forgot all about that. Who will win tomorrow? Newcastle won that poll. Only 86%. 4% said Everton will win, and 10% said a draw. Interesting. But there you go. That is the poll results from tonight. But thank you very much, everybody, for coming and joining us on a late show on a Thursday. I know it's a bit of a pain in the arse being later on, but thank you for joining us. And hopefully we'll bring back 3 points from Goodison tomorrow night. But until then, have a great night, guys. Good night.
Away to lads and girls. Whack.